Okay, Happy New Year, everybody. I've been wanting to do content like this on this channel, and I figured today's a great day to start. It's a new year. The NFL Pro Bowl rosters were just announced, and Nick Wright is probably going to have a conniption over Patrick Mahomes not making the Pro Bowl roster. I'm going to play the clip and just give my thoughts. Um, if you don't know and you're watching this video, I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan, but I agree with a lot of things Nick Wright has said over the years about not just Josh Allen, but the Bills in general. Nick Wright's usually right. I agreed with him at the beginning of the year. I thought the Bills were going to win the division when everyone was kind of, kind of down on the Bills and they were all on the Jets bandwagon or the Dolphins bandwagon because the Bills lost a bunch of old guys on defense. So for whatever reason, they were going to be bad this year, but I agreed with Nick. He was the only one who picked the Bills to win the division. I agreed with him, and that's what I thought going into the season. I thought they were going to be like a 3 or 4 seed, but they ended up being the 2 seed, so they've exceeded my expectations already. I thought they were going to be like a 5-loss team, but they are only a 3-loss team. But anyway, let's get back to the topic we have. It's Patrick Mahomes not making the Pro Bowl for the first time ever.
In 2025, Drew and I always planned for 10 years.
I had high hopes that I wouldn't be. But
I knew it. I knew you were.
Just a stepping stone.
Exactly right.
still here.
Deputy Commissioner of the NBA, Kevin Wildes. Instead,
Patrick Mahomes,
Okay.
no.
This is the first thing I want to point out. Look at the stats right here. If Pro Bowl is just for the season, not for like name recognition, this alone should be like, yeah, Mahomes, you're done. Yeah, his yards per game and Allen's are similar, but look at the touchdown to turnover ratio. Allen has 40 touchdowns on the season, Mahomes 28. Allen also has almost a 10-point higher passer rating than Mahomes. I mean, he's having a better season than Mahomes. You can make the case for Burrow because they're meandering at 500. They could get in the playoffs and need some help, but even his touchdowns are much higher than Mahomes. His passer rating is way higher than Mahomes. His yards per game even higher than Allen's, even higher than Lamar's. Burrow's having a quietly, well, I shouldn't say quietly, but he's having a great season. Anyway, I want to see the reaction.
Mahomes in the Pro Bowl. Number 1 seed, 15 wins, but for the first time.
Vegas agrees.
Okay.
Just not by a lot.
I skipped a little too much. I think he's talking about the Super Bowl odds, but
First of all, this is objectively great for the Chiefs. And believe it or not,
I don't know how it's objectively great for the Chiefs when Pro Bowls are individual awards, but
Vegas agrees. Just not by a lot, but the Chiefs became slightly bigger Super Bowl favorites this morning. Now, maybe that's coincidental. And, I can't.
it's not coincidental, but the Vegas also doesn't just be like, oh, we're going to make the Chiefs Super Bowl favorites. It's not how it happens. It's like they go by who's betting on who for the Super Bowl. It's not like, oh yeah, we're just going to make them. No, they go by who's putting in money on what other teams, and it's not just one guy named Vegas. So I never agree with him when he says stuff like this.
I
like
just
that
know
it's not.
that they
it's
were
probably-
in most shops plus 370-ish as the favorites, and this morning they're as low as plus 340, and in most places about plus 360. So
That barely moved. That barely moved.
just a little bit. So maybe other things moved the market, but I didn't see anything else happening in the football world today, like injury news or anything like that. So that part, maybe they thought the vibes in Philly were off, and that's why it moved. Or maybe they thought Patrick Mahomes is famous
They talk about vibes on this show a lot. And as I do more reactions, you're going to see more vibe videos.
for being very, very petty and taking slights very, very personally, and employing Bobby Stroop for 2 reasons. One is he's one of the best personal trainers in the world, and the other is he has a categorical memory and Twitter feed just of Patrick Mahomes slights that I'm pretty sure he yells at him while he's training. So there is that. But aside from that, this is outrageous.
Outrageous. It's outrageous.
Because if you would have the NFL media, which votes on the Pro Bowl and votes on the awards,
I'm going to cover it up a little bit in case copyright trolls are around, but continue.
And sets the narratives, tell it, the Chiefs are the best team in football and 15-1 for no reason whatsoever. Do they have the best players? Clearly not, because here's the list of teams with more awesome players than the Chiefs. Although the Ravens have damn near double.
Okay. You have more Pro Bowlers. Kansas City has 5 Pro Bowlers. 5 Pro Bowlers. That's a lot of Pro Bowlers. There's a lot of teams that have less than... Like, the Bills only have 2 Pro Bowlers. They're the number 2 seed. Josh Allen and Deion Dawkins were the only 2 named to the Pro Bowl. And you can make a case for James Cook getting into the Pro Bowl. He didn't get into the Pro Bowl. Joe Mixon of the Bengals did. And Cook has better stats than Joe Mixon. So it isn't an exact science.
Okay, so it's not do they have the best defense? Oh, no, definitely not. Only one great defensive player. That's the list of teams with more defensive Pro Bowlers than the Chiefs. Ravens have 4. Again, the Ravens, God only knows how they've lost 5 times as many games as Kansas City. They're a super team.
Okay, he's talking about defense now. Let's just skip ahead.
Again, according to the win coach of the year.
I think it's a big nod to
so the other thing we would be like, oh, the quarterback must have carried them. Nope, not at all. In no world did he carry him. He's clearly not having that great of a year. In fact, he's having such a bad year, we have to break all types of precedent because NFL history says whether I'm a quarterback wins guy or not, the voters always have been. You win 15 games as the starting quarterback all year, you're a Pro Bowler.
Okay, they didn't vote for him because the voters did not vote for Patrick Mahomes. So they didn't vote for him this year. This year they didn't vote for him. It's not like he just said that they vote for him. They didn't. They didn't vote for him. He's not in the Pro Bowl. He'll probably get in as an alternate, but he's not in the. But if the Chiefs are playing in the Super Bowl, he's not going to get in as an alternate. Never mind. Don't even worry about it.
McMahon made it. If we drop it,
Jim McMahon made it. Okay, he made 1 Pro Bowl. Mahomes has made 6? Come on, man. Come on. Dave Craig made a Pro Bowl, for crying out loud. Tyrod Taylor made a Pro Bowl. Come on, dude. What are we talking about here?
It to 14 games, 14 wins. They all made it except for 3. So let's discuss the 3 who didn't. 1 was Phil Simms. In a year, he had more interceptions than touchdowns.
Okay, 86, Phil Simms didn't get to the Pro Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. I think he had a pretty good season. He only threw 3 incomplete passes that Super Bowl. I think he did all right.
Seems maybe a little fair. He did go on to win the Super Bowl. The other one was Brady, when he had a middling year and they were coming off missing the playoffs. He was not yet the guy.
Yeah, that was the beginning of Brady. I know that they had won the Super Bowl in 01, but in 02, don't forget, the Patriots went 9-7, missed the playoffs. And then in 03, they came back and won, and the whole thing started.
You know what I mean?
He missed it another year, but not with that.
Not with 14 wins. And he then, of course, went on to win the Super Bowl.
That's a good graphic.
And so this is what is frustrating. If you had the NFL media tell it, the Chiefs, who have more wins, the best record against playoff teams of anyone in the league, has it's the AFC Pro Bowls, right? The 2 best divisions in the AFC, Brew, we would agree, are the AFC North and the AFC West. The Chiefs have played 9 of their games against those 2 divisions, and they've swept them all. And if you'd have the NFL media tell you it's actually because of no one. They don't have that many good players. The quarterback.
They have 5 Pro Bowlers. They have 5 Pro Bowlers. They're not knocking the Chiefs. They have 5 Pro Bowlers. It's if he was saying that the Chiefs are being disrespected because they only have like one Pro Bowler. I can see he's got an argument. They've got 5 Pro Bowlers. It's just not Mahomes, but they've got 5 Pro Bowlers.
Not carrying them. The coach can't win Coach of the Year. The defense isn't that great. So yeah, it is an outrage. And it's ridiculous.
It's not an outrage at all. It's actually they showed the graphics earlier of the stats. It would be an outrage if Mahomes got into the Pro Bowl over the other 3 quarterbacks.
Which is why we started talking about it a few days ago. And I'm very curious what you're going to say, because a few days ago, you said Mahomes has to be there. And now
Pro Bowl, yes.
Yeah. And I thought
apparently not. Apparently doesn't have to be there.
I think Mahomes is what should have been a lock, and then we can argue about the guy who's sadly going to miss out, but it shouldn't have been him.
Do you want
to? It should have been him. The graphics. Let's see. We're at 5:50 now. Here's the graphics. They speak for themselves. This is a Pro Bowl. Okay, this is not like Man of the Year. It's not Player of the Year. This is the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl, you get in on who's having the best season. He's not even close to these other guys. Not even close. He's having a good year. They're 15-1. They've got 5 Pro Bowlers. He's not even close, guys. Come on. What are we doing? What are we talking about?
There you go.
Now let me quickly. It's a combination of the media, players, and fans, right?
Yes.
Okay. He was 8th. Now that was the whole league.
Yes.
But he was 8th among fans. What was he in the AFC?
5th.
Do you know?
Okay. I believe it was behind the 3 who got in and Bo Nix.
Yes.
And then,
yes.
Yeah, and
okay.
then
so he was 8th
behind Bo Nix
or 5th.
I don't know. I guess. I don't know. I don't have the Bo Nix stats in front of me, but I don't know.
Among fan voting, that does mean, because the fact that he moved up to 4th does mean the media, he may have been 3rd in the media and player vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how they weigh it, but he may have made it on.
I think the player vote should have more weight than media vote. The fan vote and player vote should have like the 2 most weights, because the fans are the ones who are going to watch the Pro Bowl. I haven't watched one in I don't know how long, but
in most media ballots or whatever. And look, we did it, what was it, Friday or a couple days ago?
Did they vote? Did they?
And I had Lamar, Josh, and Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They do vote.
And I feel, I still feel that's how it should have been. But
and I wouldn't have argued with it. If it was Lamar, Josh, and Mahomes, I wouldn't have argued with it. But it's Burrow, and I'm not arguing with that either.
Not going to get up in arms. I'm not going to go ballistic about it because
Brew with the voice of reason.
I get what they're thinking. I mean,
I really got to put another graphic in front of this. I don't want to get flagged for copyright while I play this. Let me
Nick, Pro Bowl is more of an individual award than the MVP. MVP team wins come into play. I think they do a little in the Pro Bowl and should a tiny bit. Like if you win 2 games as a quarterback or something, you shouldn't be eligible, I don't think. But I think individual stats and stuff are more for Pro Bowl. Or otherwise, a Max Crosby, a Brock Bowers, a Myles Garrett. Garrett won 4 games. They wouldn't, you know what I mean? They wouldn't make the Pro Bowl if it was just about records.
I think records we really only apply to quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like nobody thinks there's like left tackle wins or defense. You know,
okay, that's fine. I also think that past history, which the reason I think Josh Allen is MVP is a lot to do with past precedent, past history. So that doesn't come into play.
It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he's like throwing and catching and running for 100 touchdowns this year. I mean, past precedent. No, he's the whole friggin' team. I hate that he brought that up, but no, Josh Allen is the MVP because he's carrying the Bills on his back. Whereas Lamar Jackson has Derrick Henry with him.
When you're talking about Pro Bowls. And I look, Nick, I'm not even trying to start nothing. I think the only argument for Mahomes is QB wins. That's it. I mean, we saw the stats, and this is why I have been so up in all.
He's right. That's the only argument for Mahomes right now. If the Chiefs were like 12-3, 13-3, like the Bills, 12-4, like in that range, you really wouldn't have an argument. But because they're 15-1, a couple of those wins were the most bullshit fashion. They're arguing Mahomes should be in. No, if the ball bounced another way, we wouldn't even be having this argument.
Arms all season about I want to see the real Patrick Mahomes. Because things like this matter. He is the best I've ever seen at quarterback. And he did not have that type of year. Nick, this is Jordan or LeBron averaging 18 points a game in their prime.
Hold on, but what if, can we show Mahomes' season? He had a 6-game slump to start the year.
But that's part of the season.
I know, of course.
You always go there, but that's part of.
Okay, so now he's showing the last 10 games. Okay, what about the first 6? This is a season. This is not the Pro Bowl's for a season. It's not the last 10 weeks of the year. Like, it's the whole season. So yeah, he's having great. This is when you want him to be good, towards the end of the season, going into the playoffs. Great. I'm glad he's turned it around. Good for you guys, but the season starts in September, and if you don't show up until Halloween, what do you want? What are we doing here? What are we talking about?
No. But I'm not denying it's part of the season. But to me, to use your example, it's MJ or LeBron. And not averaging 18 for the season, but averaging 12 for a month, and then
I'm so sick of the MJ LeBron argument in other sports, by the way. Like, come on, guys.
Getting right back to their career averages for the next 3 months, but it drags it down. That's his career numbers.
Even 98 passer rate.
I mean, his career
everybody else was better than that. I'm saying the 3 that made it are better than that. The 3 that made it had a higher touchdown percentage than even him at 20-3. Lamar had 4 interceptions for the whole season. I'm just saying, to me, that is the only argument is QB wins.
So here's the thing, because I don't think it is in conflict for me to think, you will use the guy we used to always argue about quarterback wins about. Jimmy Garoppolo's quarterback wins were almost, not entirely, but almost entirely meaningless to me.
And now the argument is Brock Purdy instead of Jimmy Garoppolo, but you get the point.
Evaluating how he played and who he was and his role.
Jimmy Garoppolo, by the way, I never thought he was terrible. Injuries got in the way, but I think if Jimmy Garoppolo ended up staying healthy and played for another team other than the Raiders after he left the 49ers, I think Jimmy Garoppolo would have been all right.
In those victories, was he to use the Barkley thing, the tractor or the trailer? Was he the bus driver?
Right. Passenger.
And I don't think that is at all a conflict in watching the Kansas City Chiefs this year saying they are the Super Bowl favorite, they have the best record. And as good as Burrow and Lamar and Allen have been, do I think they would be 15-1 with any of those guys playing quarterback? I don't, and I don't think anybody does.
I don't disagree.
Okay, nobody's saying that, so
I agree with that. Because Mahomes is the culture setter, the tone setter, all that. I agree.
But it's not. Patrick Mahomes didn't cause the Raiders to screw up that final sequence against them. Patrick Mahomes didn't miss the field goal that the Chargers missed. I mean, come on, dude. Really? Yeah, they're 15-1. They should be at minimum, they should be 13-3. The Raiders lost the game. The Chargers lost the game. The Chiefs didn't beat them those games. Those teams lost those games. So, whatever. I mean, if you're saying, yep, my light just fell. But if you're saying to me that the Chiefs are being disrespected, you'd have a better argument if they didn't have any Pro Bowlers. They have 5. Mahomes isn't one of them. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think Mahomes should be in the Pro Bowl? I don't think so. I don't, not this year. Pro Bowls are individuals, they're stats. Mahomes ain't got the stats. Thanks for watching. I'm going to post more of these throughout the playoffs into the Super Bowl. And then I'm going to start doing this for other sports because I've been wanting to do this for a while. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. I haven't been doing much with the action figures. But I bought this, a vintage penguin figure, by the way. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. Do you want to see more content like this? I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.